want you to look at this, man. If you're looking at that, what do you see? If you look closely, you'll see the letter D. If I just do that, it's interesting. It now becomes a P. You know what? I believe this piece of paper reflects a lot of people's attitude toward the world. You can live your life in the D or the P. And I sat up the other night really late and God gave this to me, and I just want to read it to you because, man, I believe some of us, too many of us, are living our life in the D instead of the P. Here's what it means to live in the D. You're defeated with doubt and discouragement. You're doped by the drunkenness of drugs. You're driven by despair and disillusionment. You're declining into darkness and depression. You're drowning in demonic deception, disbelief, and defiance. You're dreading dangerous disaster and destruction. The devil has you distraught, dizzy, disappointed, defenseless. You're disgraced with divorce. You're demoralized, and you're in denial. You're deprived. You're devastated. You're deflated. You're debased. You're distracted. You're destroyed. You're destitute. You're devastated. You're despised. You're disarmed. You're defenseless. You're disarranged. You're downcast. You're downhearted. You've been dragged down into the dungeon. You're downcast, driven into the doghouse, never making it out of the dugout. If we live in the D, it will destroy you. The D will spend eternity with the devil. Or you can choose to live in the P. Proper planning and perspective on life. You can live on God's proven promises. You can practice the privilege of persistent, powerful prayer. You can find peace and pleasurable presence and power in His presence. You can live a life of purity. You can put on the garment of praise in Psalms. You can be perfected in persecution and pruning. You can have a proven passageway to His palace. You can be a persistent provider of all provisions. You can experience powerful Pentecostal preaching. And you can be prudent in the Proverbs. And you can live a life that is praiseworthy. If we live in the P, it will perfect you. The person who lives in the P spends eternity with the Prince of Peace. Men, what are you going to do? Are you going to live in the P or the D? By God's grace, we'll live in the P.